Hello friends, welcome to the channel. Hope you are doing great. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please go ahead and subscribe. I have created bunch of playlists to cover various categories of problems such as stacks, queues, linked lists, dynamic programming, greedy method, BFS, DFS and so on. Please check them out. I have uploaded the code for this problem to the GitHub repository. You can get the link from the description section of this video. Let's jump into today's problem. Is subsequence. So given string s and string t, check if s is subsequent of t or not. A subsequence of a string is a new string which is formed by the original string by deleting some of the characters without disturbing the relative positions of the remaining characters. That is, AS is a subsequence of A, B, C, D, E, while AEC is not. So basically we are given with two strings, right, s and t. We are asked to check if s is a subsequence of t. So there are two concepts when you are dealing with strings. There is a substring and a subsequence. So when you say substring, right, let's say ABC is s, right, and t is equal to A, B, C, D, E, F, right. So in that case we will call s is substring of t, right, because ABC, right, you can find same ABC in t as well, in the string t as well. Let's say if it was like this, right, we will say s is not a substring of t, because A, B, C are there, but A, B, C are not in here together, right. So that's what a substring is. But when you come to the subsequence, right, when you say subsequence, the characters need not be adjacent, right. So characters need not be adjacent. So in that particular case, let me copy this s and t here, and let's go with the definition for the subsequence. So now, so A, B, C, here A, B, D, C is there, right. So by definition, the subsequence is, we will be fine to knock off some characters and form a string, right. That's what it is, right, by deleting some characters. Can be even none also. For example, if you are given with s is equal to ABC and t is equal to ABC, right. So that means s is a substring and subsequence of t. S is substring and subsequence, right, of t. That's what we would say, right. When the lengths are same and the characters are also same, we would say it's a substring as well as subsequence. But in this particular case, in the first case, it is a substring, right, when it was A, B, C, D, E, F, right. Let me knock this off just to avoid the confusion, right. So now, but for this case, it is not a substring, but we are saying it is a subsequence. Why? Just because by removing some of the characters, right. So by removing some of these characters, so what we are trying to remove here, so remove character D, character E and F, right. So if you remove all those, then it will become, the strings will become equal, right. So by removing some strings, if we can make the strings equal, right, then that is a subsequence. One thing that we have to keep in mind is, we are not allowed to change the character positions. For example, s is equal to ABC and t is equal to A, C, B, D, let's say, if this is the thing, right. So this is not a substring, not a subsequence, right, because you have A here and you have a A here corresponding, but after A you need to have a B, but there is C is coming, so we should ignore that, and then there is a B, right. So we can match a B. After that we should match a C. Is there a C that is coming after B? No. That's why we will say it is not a subsequence. So that means what we are saying here is, we are not allowed to change the positions of the characters. So whatever the characters are there in that order, it should stay in that same order. So you cannot pick and choose and change the characters' positions. The index is basically what I am saying, right. So in this case, ABC is not a subsequence of AC, BD, but in this case, ABC is a subsequence of AB, DC, EF, right. So basically what we are essentially trying to look here is, we will just look for one characteristics. what is that? The characteristic is it should be in the same order. That is, the characters which are appearing in here should also appear in the same order, but they can be interleaved with any other characters. So let me show you with a different example. So let's say t is equal to, right? So there is I am putting star, star A, star, star B, star, star C, star, star D, right? So all these stars, any characters can be present, right? So right, all these stars, any characters can be present, but as long as A, B, C is in order, like A is there, B is there, C is there, we will say okay, A, B, C is a subsequence of this T, right? So this might be easier to understand, right? So that means the characters should be interleaved. The number of interleaved characters could be 0 also. That means T could be A, B, C, star, star, C. The star is any other character, right? Star is any character. It doesn't matter. That's what we have to assume. So in this case, S is a subsequence of T, and even in this case, S is a subsequence of S, right? So that's the definition of subsequence, right? So what we are trying essentially is, we are trying to map whether a character in a S has a match with a character in T along with the relative positioning, right? So let's try to work out an algorithm based on that, right? So basically we will have index I is equal to 0, which is keeping track of S, right, for S, and with index keeping track of J, which is for T, right? So in this case, if there is a match, right, if you have a match for S, you increment I and J. But if there is no match, you just increment J, right? So if there is a match, you increment I and J, otherwise increment only J, right? So let's try this approach and see, right? So now we will take this simple example again, A, B, C, D, E, F, right? So this is example, D, C, E, F, this one, right? So let me copy this and paste it over here, right, just for the understanding, right? So I is equal to 0, J is equal to 0, we have a match, right? We have a match. That means I is equal to 1 now and J is equal to 1, right? Good. And B, yes, we have a match. So take it off, increment both, right? That's what we are doing, right? If there is a match, you increment I and J. So now we incremented I2, J2. So I is equal to 2, but J is D, right? C and D, they are not same. So what you are going to do, you are incrementing only J. So just increment J, right? And now I is equal to 2 we said, and J is equal to 3. C and C, right? It is a match, right? And what we are going to do, increment 3 and 4, right? So but the string S is already exhausted, I is equal to 3, there is no I is equal to 3 for S, right? So while your I is less than S, you keep on doing it, right? While your I is less than S and J is also less than T's length, basically S length and T's length, you keep on doing this. Finally, when you are exiting that loop, your I should be equal to the length of S. So now in this case, I's length is 3 and S length is also 3. I is equal to 3 and S length is 3. So if that is the case, you will say, okay, there is a match, you are good, right? So that's one approach we can solve, right? So this is one approach, approach 1 we will say, right? So this is a very simple approach where we will be going through both strings and then trying to come up with a answer, right? So let's look at approach 2. So this is a slightly involving approach where we will be employing the dynamic programming method, right? So we are trying to find subsequence, right? So as long as the subsequence is there and its length finally matches, right, then we will say, okay, it is a right subsequence, correct? Yeah. So let's go ahead and do dynamic programming approach for solving this problem. So basically in this approach what we are going to do is we will have an array which is two-dimensional array which is created for the length of s by length of t. Let's say length of s is m, right, and length of s is t is n, right. So what we are going to create is we will have an array which is equal to array m by n. That's what we said, right. So now we will have an array m by n. So in this particular case, how many characters we will have? Like s is 3 and t is 6, right. So that will be a 3 by 6 array, right. So let me 3 by 6, right. So we will have 3 more, right, 3 more, right. So this will be our array m by n. So what we are going to do here is we will try to initialize this array with all zeros, right. So now we have initialized with the array with all zeros. What we are trying to do here is we are trying to find a common subsequence, right. So what we will do is we will initialize the first row and first column, right. So first row is this in this matrix and first column this one. So we will first initialize those things and go for the second row, second column next onwards, right. So what we are going to do is to initialize the first row and first column, we will employ a method saying, okay, if there is a match with the first character, right. So we will see if there is a match. So when we have to change this, right, this means 0 0, right. The first corner, leftmost corner will be 0 0, right, 0 0. So that means we are looking at the first character in S and first character in T, right. So if there is a match, right, if there is a match in this particular case, I am taking the same example S and T, right, S and T there is a match. That is why we are saying, okay, turn this to 1, right, that is what we do. So let us continue doing that until the first complete row. That means we are trying to compare the first character of S with each character in T. So if there is a match, no, there is no real match. But if you were to say, okay, what is the subsequence if your string is S is equal to just A and T is ABC, you will say subsequence length is 1, right. So that is the reason why, let me put the BC back. So that is the reason why we will say, okay, whatever the subsequence length so far, we will try to replicate. So that is what we will do, right. That is our first row filling and first column. Now what we are going to do is we are trying to compare T's first character with S characters in S. So there is a match for the first character, we already have that 1, and since that is a match, we will put 1s in the first column as well. Now, so now we have completed filling up the first row and first column. So let us go and fill up the rest of the matrix. So now when we come here, right, the row number and column number is 1 1, right. So now what we are trying to do is if there is a match between the second character in S and second character in T, yes. So second character is B and second character is B here. So there is a match. So now what we need to do, right. So that is the question that we need to answer in order to proceed further, right. So now there is a match. If there is a match, what we are going to do is simply take whatever diagonally above element, right. So what is diagonally above? This is the element. So now we are at 1 1. What is diagonally above? That means 0 0, right. So if you are at ij, let us say, right, if you are at ij, so diagonal will be I minus 1 j minus 1, right. So this is a simple understanding. So when you are at 1 1, the diagonally above element will be 0 0. So what you are going to do is simply add 1 to it and put the result there. That is if there is a match, right. If there is a match, in this particular case S of 1 and T of 1, there is a match B and B, right. In that particular case, what we are going to do is whatever you have at the diagonal position, just get that and copy it and add 1 to it. So that means if the string was S is equal to AB, T is equal to A, B, C, D, E, F, What is the maximum length of the substring there? AB. So both of them match. That's the reason why we are putting 2 here. So the logic behind that is there. So let me put C back. Now we will be going on and looking for this one. What is this? 1, 2. So that means we are trying to match the S first character with T's second character. I mean the position second. That means the third character. 1 with 2, right? So is there a match? No, right? So if there is no match, what we are going to do is we will simply take the maximum of 3 elements. What 3 elements? Maximum of this one, and this one. So if you look at my mouse pointers, right? So this one, and this one. So we already know what is this is. This is diagonally above element, that is I minus 1, j minus 1, right? And what is this element will be? This will be a row above, but the column is same. Row above and the column is same will be what? I minus 1 and j, right? And what will be this? It's the same row but a column left. What is that becomes? I, same row, right? Column will be next previous column, I j minus 1. So you take the maximum of these 3. So what is the maximum of these 3? It will be 2, right? That's what we are going to put. So that is the logic that we are going to do to fill this particular matrix. Got it? So basically, once we fill this matrix, whatever the maximum value that we have in this matrix, that is our basically answer, right? So that maximum value, if that maximum value is equal to the length of S, right? Let's say maximum value, right? So we'll call that as max val, okay? Max val from ARR, right? So if max val from ARR is equal to the length of S, then we are good. That means S is a subsequence of T, right? That's what is our dynamic programming approach. So now that we have seen 2 different approaches, let's go ahead and look at the code for those 2 approaches, right? So let me go this way so that we will be able to see the code, right? So we will have, as we said, the first approach, we have initialized the 2 trackers, basically I and j. So while I is less than s dot length and j is less than t dot length, we will be going through this while loop, right? So if t is equal to t of j is equal to s of I, we will increment both pointers, right? So basically, if there is a match, we will increment. If there is no match, we just increment j. That's it. So in this way, what we are going to do is we are trying to go through the string s and string j, string s and string t, right? One full time. Right? Once you get out of this loop, the I should be equal to the s dot length. If so, you return true, otherwise you return false, right? It's as simple as that. The same concept that we have discussed as part of the initial introduction, right? So this is a simple algorithm. So now let's look at the time and space complexity for this, right? So what is the time it is going to take and what is the space it is going to take, right? So that's what we are interested in, right? So let me put this down. So for the first approach, approach 1, I am calling what is the time and what is the space, right? So we will also go through the approach 2 and look at the time and space, right? So now, so what is the time complexity it's taking, right? So we are going through this while loop until the s length and t's length. So that means how much we are essentially doing here, right? So we are going through the max of s or t. Since we are trying to find out whether s is a subsequence of t, right? So in a very positive case, the length of s must be less than or equal to length of t, right? So in when we ask whether it's a subsequence of t, s is a subsequence of t or not, length of s should be less than or equal to length of t, right? So this is a regular case, right? But obviously if length of s is greater than length of t, you cannot have that as a subsequence, right? So if you want to add, let's say if length of s is greater than length of t, obviously you will say okay, it is not a subsequence, right? So if you would like to add something like this, right, if s dot length is greater than t dot length, right, return false. That's it, you can do that, right? But otherwise, what is the time complexity that we are taking here to go through this while loop? It's length of t, right? So, the time complexity for this particular algorithm will be length of t. So, it will be order of length of t, right? We do not know what is length of t, that is why I am just saying length of t. And let us go ahead and look at the space complexity. Are we using any extra space here? We are using couple of variables s and t, but other than that we are not using anything. So, irrespective of the length of s and t, the time complexity is space complexity is constant, right. So, we will say this algorithm for the approach 1 will take order of 1 space complexity, right. Let us go to the approach 2, right. So, this will be much more involving since it is includes the dynamic programming, right. So, here what we are saying is, okay, we got the length of s into m and we got the length of t into n. So, here we are trying to see if m is equal to 0 and n is equal to 0, or m is equal to 0 and n is not equal to 0. That basically if the length of string, if s is empty string and t is empty string, we will say return true. If f is a empty string and t is not empty, then also return true, because empty string is substring of subsequence of everything, right. That is the reason why we will say, okay, for these two cases we will return true. Otherwise, if m is not equal to 0, but n is equal to 0, that means you are given with a valid string for s, but empty string for t, right. In that case, we will just say return false, right. And then now going on to the dynamic programming approach. So, now we declared an array which is equal to m by n and initializing all the array contents to 0. Then going on and trying to fill the first row and first column. So, basically we are trying to fill whether there is a match. If there is a match, we found a match and keep on filling ones. That's what we did in the explanation, right. So, we are filling the first row and first column, right. We did the first row and first column, and then going on we start with the second row second column, that is at the index 1 and 1, right. So, I is equal to 1 and j is equal to 1, right. So, if there is a match, what we are saying is just directly get whatever the value that is there in diagonally above element, which is I minus 1 and j minus 1, add 1 to it and put into array of ij, right. Otherwise, what we are saying is take the maximum of 3 elements, right. One is the diagonally above element and one is the same row left column and same column upper row, right. Whatever the value, these 3 values, just get the maximum and put into the current position. And while you do that, update the max length so far observed, right. So, update the max length so far observed. Finally, once you go through this, right, check whether your max length is equal to the length of m. If it is equal, then you say it is a subsequence, otherwise it is not a subsequence. It exactly follows the approach that we discussed earlier. So, let us go ahead and look at the time and space complexity for this particular approach also. So, here we are saying the length of s is m and length of t is n, right. So, the time complexity will be here. So, we are going through this complete matrix to fill all zeros, right. So, it will be taking order of mn, where m is the length of s and n is the length of t, right. And then we are going to fill the first row, right. So, first row will be equal to, it will be taking order of n, right, and the first column will be taking order of m, right. So, that is what we are doing, and then we are doing starting from the second row and second column, right. So, this will be taking m minus 1 and n minus 1. So, on the whole, if you add this first row and first column and m minus 1 rows and m minus 1 columns, the whole time complexity for all these for loops will be equal to the order of mn. So, let me update the whole thing with the order of mn, right. So, this will be order of mn plus order of mn. So, order of 2 mn it will be, right. So, since big O notation, we will take off all the constants. So, we will say it is order of mn time complexity. So, let us look at the space complexity. How much space complexity are we using here for this particular problem? Is there any space we are using? So, m and n are a couple of variables that we are using, but this is a space that we are using. The space of array is order of m by n, right. So, let us add that in space, and then are we using any more extra space? We are using another variable boolean, but that is a it will not take much space anyway, it's just constant space. And then moving on to see if there is any extra space that we are using. So in this particular case, we are not using any much more extra space. So that means the space complexity is also order of mn. So time complexity order of mn and space complexity is also order of mn, right? So we have gone through the couple of approaches, and in the first approach, the time complexity is order of maximum of s and t, which we said, okay, normally t will be maximum, t's length will be more than s length, that's why we will say order of length of t. If you were to talk in m and n, right, so it will be order of length of m, right, the first approach, and the space complexity was order of 1. But for the second one, the time complexity is order of m by n and space complexity is also order of m by n. If you have any further questions, please post them in the comment section below this video. I have posted the code to the GitHub repository. You can find the link in the description section below this video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please go ahead and subscribe and share among your friends as much as you can. Please click on the bell icon so that you will be notified about all the future videos. Thank you for watching. I will be back with another problem very soon. Till then, stay safe. Goodbye. Thank you.